Welcome to Converse-ations.
What?
I don't know.
Oh no.
We realized that we're wearing the same exact shirts that we wore for the Barney video, but that one also has like the most views.
First, so.
Well, I'm Willy Wonka, so. Today we are going to be discussing Willy Wonka and the various adaptations and our opinions on all of them because we are opinionated. I guess we should start with the book. Have you read the book?
I have not.
Okay. I have read the book.
I am aware of its existence, but I've never actually read any Roald Dahl books.
Do you know
at all?
God, what is wrong with you? What is okay? Do you know what the title of the book is?
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Yes.
Do you know why the title was changed? The movie was partially funded by Nestle, who was releasing a Wonka chocolate bar. So they wanted to change the title of the film to Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory so that the Wonka name association was stronger. What's interesting is the film Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory focuses on Charlie. The film Charlie and the Chocolate Factory focuses more on Wonka.
That's weird, yeah.
I have a fun story about Wonka bars.
We are, no, we're not doing random rants already, like that. Side rant!
I will save my fun story about Wonka bars. It's a really good story.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory was a very, very well-received book. It got a sequel. I think it is the only Roald Dahl book to get a sequel book.
That sounds accurate
which is Charlie and the Great Glass Elevator, which is weird! It is a weird book! And not weird as in Roald Dahl's, like, normal sense of weird, but, like, it goes, like, woo out there. They decided to make this movie in the 70s.
Yep.
And Roald Dahl wrote the screenplay for it. And then they changed a whole bunch of crap. And when it was released, he was like, no.
Not mine.
What is this? They still credit it to him, but yeah, there was so much changed in it that he was like, no.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite song and a least favorite song in this film?
Well, Pure Imagination is just perfection.
Yeah.
It stands on its own outside of the film while also perfectly matching the scene that it is placed in. All the Oompa Loompa songs are very exclusive to fitting the film. I've Got a Golden Ticket can get like slightly out of place, but
you know what the worst song is?
Cheer Up, Charlie.
Correct. Irritates me.
What even is that?
It slows the pace down of the film. The entire beginning portion of that film is so slow.
That was the movie where you kind of like tuned out for the first part, and then it picked up later.
Once Wonka came in, it was like, oh, this is actually like a movie.
I think this was my first Gene Wilder film.
It's same, yes.
I didn't really know anybody else in it. That's because most of the kids were not named.
No, yeah.
Speaking of which, the kid who played Charlie didn't do anything else. But he's nice.
All the kids are pretty... Well, no, we're not going to get into that. We go quite some time without any adaptation. I think a lot of film studios... Much like The Wizard of Oz, they weren't going to try to mess with it. And then Warner Brothers came back around and said, maybe we'll do it again. Maybe we'll do like if we don't call it Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, we can do this again. So they did Charlie and the Chocolate Factory in 2005, I believe.
That sounds right.
Sounds right. There was...
Did you see it in theaters?
Yes. Because my grandparents were down and wanted to take us to see it because they wanted to go and see it because they thought that it would be a fun movie.
I said, it's Tim Burton. Yes, please.
That makes sense.
I was in high school and obsessed with Nightmare Before Christmas at the time.
This is where the biggest debate it comes in, is which version is better, which version is more faithful to the book, which version's like additions are better.
Yeah.
I think I wanted something in between both movies.
Yeah.
Because one went this extreme and one went this extreme, and some of them were up here and some of them were...
I will vote for the Danny Elfman score all day, every day. His Oompa Loompa songs all sound different.
Yeah.
They used the original book lyrics. I am down with that. But if I could have gotten the look of the Oompa Loompas from movie 1 doing the songs from movie 2.
See, you don't even want the ones from the first movie again.
I like the first movie ones better than the second movie ones, where it was one person.
I think Deep Roy did a great job with what direction he was given.
Yes, but I don't like that they literally just went all the way across. Yep. Like, There are other talented people. Give more people a job.
All humans don't look the same, and the Oompa Loompas are people.
Yeah.
So, like...
Yes. I thought the kids in the new version had more personality? Stronger personality?
I think the kids in the first one were louder. I think loud is the word I would use to describe them.
They just kind of shout everything?
Yes.
There was more nuance to the kids in the second batch.
They were more done as caricatures, and they were, as Tim Burton does for a lot of his characters in all of his movies, they were done in very caricature form. There were some things, again, there's some things about the original kids and some things I liked about the new ones, and I feel like there was like there's a middle point that would be great.
Freddie Highmore is his name. I thought he was fantastic.
He's so
Charlie.
Good. He's the right amount of innocence.
He's the right amount of innocence. He's the right level of energy. I also would have taken him as James and James and the Giant Peach. I feel like he would have also been perfect casting for that.
Yes.
He had that same very Roald Dahl vibe. Like, he fit that part.
Do you prefer both parents being alive, or one parent being alive?
I like both parents alive. I think it felt less like they were trying to make you feel sad for him. Yeah.
I don't think either one added very much to the plot.
No, but I like that he felt more content at home with the Fuller family. Like, it sucked, but like they had everybody. Where with the father, gone, dead, whatever the case was in the first one, you're like, oh, he's missing out on a part of his family experience. Whereas with this, you're like, he's got the full family, they just need some help.
Which is, I think, so then this is where the difference is between the first original movie and the second movie. I think the first one was a story about a very poor family, a very poor family that becomes rich at the end.
Yeah.
The new one focuses on a very poor family unit that continues to be a family at the end of this with their inheritance. There's a big
they move the house
difference
into the factory. They don't change who they are,
and you don't
in the least.
Yeah, and you don't really know what happens after the fact in the original. You just kind of go, oh, it's done.
I guess things changed for them.
I appreciate that Tim's went the extra step in all directions with giving Wonka's backstory a little bit more depth.
Yeah.
And continuing after where the original movie ended with the Great Glass Elevator, and then kind of just continuing to give a more cohesive wrap-up.
But I don't like Johnny Depp.
There's some things that I enjoy about his performance, and some things that I'm like, this is weird. I understand what they were trying to get at with it.
I feel like if they'd cast somebody else, it would have worked better.
Yeah.
He's creepy, and he bothers me.
I will give him that this is a Johnny Depp performance that we don't see anywhere else.
No, it's if Edward Scissorhands was talking. It's the childlike innocence.
Does Edward Scissorhands talk?
No.
I haven't seen Edward Scissorhands at Grand Total.
No, he really doesn't talk at all. That's why he was so good at it. He was silent and still. I didn't like the styling for his look either.
It was different, yeah, because you could tell, at least from the book illustrations, where Gene Wilder's costume and everything was kind of pulled from.
It felt more grounded.
And then this one was very not that. The practical set of the grand reveal of the big chocolate room, the candy room, was much better in the original. Yeah. Once you opened that door and it was all CGI, it was just
like, whatever, it didn't feel, like, let's just move on.
Yeah. Most of it was set pieces, but it just didn't.
It felt plastic. It was designed to look plastic. Yeah. And that didn't work for me.
Gene Wilder's performance was excellent.
Just a work of art. A big thing about Gene Wilder's performance, and something that shows just how in tune he was with the character and how much he studied the character, was he insisted that he would only do the project if he got to do the character's introduction the way he wanted it, which is where he walked out stumbling, the cane gets stuck, and then he somersaults forward and pops up perfectly fine. Because he said that setup that from that moment on, you don't know if Wonka's telling you the truth or not. Yeah. Is he the frail and bumbling old man? Is he the man that can do a somersault? Yep. From moment one.
Because that's very much what it was in the book.
And he understood the character so well that he said, this is how this character needs to be introduced. It works cinematically that would not have worked in book form. It was something that was very much
visual,
taking advantage of the fact that this was a visual medium. And the introduction that you get with Dad was just...
It's funny, but it's not a big grand reveal that you need it to be. You don't feel immediately connected with the character. You're like, oh, this guy's funny. His index cards that he reads was a very funny point.
Yeah.
On Wonka, but very funny. There was a lot happening. During this time of, like, craziness in between the Tim Burton movie and the musical, which we will get to, there was another adaptation that came out from Warner Brothers. It was an animated version of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, which we had not gotten at this point.
Yep.
But, fun twist, because we like to throw the fun twists in there, it was Tom and Jerry in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, so it was literally the shots from the film animated, and then Tom and Jerry were in there. Just because. They re-recorded.
How did that pitch meeting go? I want to know.
Well, they did Tom and Jerry and the Wizard of Oz, and they went, well, this went well. What else do we have that we can do this with? It was alright. The Warner Brothers animation style is their animal characters are great. Their human characters are very weird, and they all go, and it's weird, and I just don't... So the human characters didn't translate as well as I would have preferred.
Yeah.
They did some interesting things. The one that I loved, and I don't know if they purposefully did it or if I just was like...
reading too much into it.
Which is probably what it was. So in the original... Was it in Boy Tales of Childhood?
Probably.
Roald Dahl had often talked about all of his childhood and all of the references that he made in future books. So he used to go to a candy store, and the lady in charge was a very mean person. A sweet shop, yes.
Sweet shop.
And so him and his friends decided to put a dead mouse inside a jar of gobstoppers. And there was a whole big fallout from that. So in the animated Tom and Jerry movie, in the sequence in the candy store...
The Candyman can.
The Candyman, Jerry is like stuck inside a jar of what I am assuming is gobstoppers, because that is what they looked like in real life at that point. They weren't like the weird, like how do you even eat that? So I saw that and got real excited, because I hope that was in reference to that story. I don't know if it was.
If you worked on the film, please tell us.
Because I would like to know if that was what the reference was. Yeah. Then we go into London.
Yeah.
Where there was a stage adaptation, a musical adaptation of the show. Now, various theatrical rights companies have released their own version of the Willy Wonka play or the Willy Wonka musical based on the original movie. So, like, there are all sorts of different things going on.
This was the first big budget, fully branded,
mostly original score for the entire thing. So the original London cast did a great job with everything. The performances were outstanding. The set and projection work were phenomenal. The new songs were great. I think the only song that they used from the original was Pure Imagination from the original Warner Brothers movie.
Because it's just such a good song.
And it fits very well.
Yeah.
And they had 5 children play the 5 kids, and it was really great, and it felt like a very natural progression for where the plot and the story from the book and the novel went to be adapted. Then they said, we're going to bring it to New York. And they proceeded to rewrite most of the songs. This is a huge theater problem that I have, is you will have a great show in one location, and then they will cater it to the completely different audience by changing everything when they bring it somewhere else. So when they took it from London and they brought it to the US, to New York, they rewrote most of the songs. They added more songs from the original film. They did a completely new set design. They only had Charlie as a child, and everyone else were adults playing kids, so that way people would feel more connected to Charlie. And then the worst decision of all, which was Christian Borle as Willy Wonka.
No one was happy about it, including him.
I do not like him. Once they cast him as that, at first I was like, this could work. But then once the clips started coming out, I was like, no, get off the stage! How dare you! I was furious.
And then he shaved his head.
And then he shaved his head to do something else. And I was like, so he's copying me and making more money at it. And I'm very upset about this. I started showing this video to everyone being like, be angry with me! Be furious at this man! And they were. And then the show closed. And I was not... I had
before you
I had an opportunity to go and see it.
Make your statements. Surprise! It closed. And didn't get good reviews.
And the marquees were up for like months after.
Know.
And I hope they're gone now. I hope King Kong put everything over top of it.
Insult to injury right there.
It just and it hurt so much because there was so much
potential.
They did everything so well in London.
Yeah.
And they brought it over here and they just went eh. So now Netflix is going to be adapting all of these various Roald Dahl stories, so I'm very excited to see what they are doing with that. I am ready. Let's do this. And I think that each of these adaptations has been completely different in its own
and has definitely added something to the overall discussion. Can I tell my Wonka bar story now?
Yes, you can tell your Wonka bar story.
So, my mom's best friend's dad was obsessed with Wonka bars. Just obsessed. And there was a long period of time where they weren't being made. You could not purchase Wonka bars. So, my mom's best friend had been dating this guy for a long time, and he was going to be very proper, and he was going to ask her father for permission before proposing. But he needed to sweeten the deal, right? So he managed to track down 6 Wonka bars and presented the Wonka bars and said, I want to ask for your daughter's hand in marriage, and gave him the Wonka bars. And he took the Wonka bars and said, you could do whatever you want. So my mom's best friend was sold for 6 Wonka bars. That's why I said this is like
wonderful.
The best Wonka story ever.
There have been various incarnations of Wonka Bar. The one that I grew up with before the movie came out, because Nestle went in and rebranded all of their Wonka stuff with the animated Wonka and the Oompa Loompas running around and stuff. Yep. So then they re-released the Wonka Bar at that point, and then they discontinued them after the movie came out. So that Wonka Bar was a graham cracker with like Rice Krispies on the bottom, chocolate covered, all of that. I know there have been various interpretations of it in the past, and this is the one I remember, and I haven't had a candy bar that was even similar to that. Do you know what I would want
out of a Wonka bar? Because we've had it, is Pop Rocks chocolate.
Yeah, I feel like that's like
very
a scrumptious bar or something like that. I wish that Nestle would go back and redo the line. We need a permanent Wonka line. Yeah. We really do.
Well, there's some candies that have always had the Wonka name, because Nerds has always had the Wonka name on it.
And now, well, it doesn't now.
Does it really?
Yeah, it's all taken off of everything.
Oh. Oops.
Yeah, Nerds has been just rebranded as Nerds. Runs has been rebranded as just Runs. Okay.
Well, maybe Netflix will get that rolling.
I really hope so. I want all the Roald Dahl candy for everything.
Peach rings! Giant peach rings!
Chocolate cake, like, you need... I just want...
Yeah.
I think we should just open a Roald Dahl restaurant. I'm just gonna add to the list. Like, what else are we gonna do today?